This is the video for gearing up for PvP in Warcraft Dragonflight. This is not like other guides. I will be telling you the truth about the fastest way to gear up, not what Blizzard wants you to know. Some of these strategies are considered very controversial. Even the most experienced players will likely find something they did not know in this video. Soon you will be able to destroy enemy players faster than Blizzard destroys their own franchises with predatory monetization. So you've just hit 70 in World of Warcraft. If you're gearing an ult and you have a main character with 1400 rating or higher, you can bypass a lot of the gearing process by using the Obsidian equipment chest from Kuldarax in the Gladiator's Refuge in Valdrakken. This can be sent to your ult, even if it is of the opposite faction, and will give them a random piece of Obsidian Gladiator's equipment, which scales up to 450 in PvP. This is a very good way to gear up your ult for the first 5 or so pieces you send. The crates can contain an item which your ult already has, it's random, in which case the crate is wasted, so I wouldn't overdo this. Additionally, your main should send any medals of honor they may have picked up from Victorious Contenders Strong boxes to your ult. Assuming you are gearing your character for the very first time, you may wish to purchase Obsidian Competence gear which scales to eye level 424. These can be bought off the auction house, or if you want a cheaper option, you can purchase the materials and give a crafter a small tip using the work orders system. Also, you can customize the gear with Draconic Missives, which award specific secondary stats. These can be purchased from the auction house. Either way, you can make enough doing world quests that give raw gold to cover most of a set in an hour or so. 424 gear is better than nothing, but it still sucks. So you may wish to go straight into the next stage of either queuing for Battlegrounds or doing world PvP. Now, just before we start that, check your map for any PvP world quests that are up. You can identify these quickly by the crossed swords icon. Now, these quests can award Scale Warden gear that scales up to 434 in PvP, or bloody tokens, which can be used to purchase several pieces of Scale Warden gear. So you may want to do these whenever they are up. This is the way to gear up on ults, which you only play for a short time each day, or you are focusing mostly on your main characters. This quest, for example, awards 750 bloody tokens and only takes 5 minutes to complete. Just doing quests like these, it will take you only an hour or so of actual playtime to get a full eye level 434 Scale Warden gear set, much faster than any other method. The downside, of course, is that you can't do this continuously. You need to leap onto your ult and do these PvP quests whenever a new one is up. It's worth adding that all PvP quests seem to award at least 50 bloody tokens, something that is not stated on the quest reward tooltip. Now you have the choice to do either World PvP or Instance Battlegrounds. World PvP is very simple. Speak to the NPC on the left of the entrance to the Gladiator's Refuge and take his Sparks of Life quest. Now open Custom Group Finder and join a group with Sparks in the title. If you cannot find or join a group, then you can do this solo by flying to a PvP World Quest location and killing any players you find there, but it's going to be a lot easier to do it in a group. Any player that is killed, whose death you contributed to in some way, will award you a Spark of Life, which will count towards completion of the Sparks quest, and also a bloody token, which, as we've established, can be used to buy eye level 434 Scale Warden gear. You can AFK this if you're in a group and leech off the rest of your party. Their kills will earn you bloody tokens and sparks. I don't generally do this much because it is kind of a dick move, and also because it isn't very fast. Most players don't know how to tag kills properly. The fastest way to get bloody tokens and sparks is simply to cast an area of effect spell on a group of players in combat and then just run away very fast. Alternatively, the Dragon Rider's initiative ability can be used to tank players on landing, which will also gain you bloody tokens and sparks, allowing you to fly away quickly. In addition to the 434 gear you can buy with bloody tokens, once you've got 100 sparks for the quest, you can go back to the quest giver, turn it in, and get 8 trophies of strife. Take these over to Corxian, who is also in the Gladiator's Refuge, and upgrade any piece of Scale Warden gear you have from 434 to 447. Finally, for those going down the World PVP path, the supply drops that occur randomly around the Dragon Isles contain 200 bloody tokens, and at this stage of the patch you'll often find no one is claiming these. If you prefer Battlegrounds to World PvP, the currency you will be earning is Honor, and you will be buying weapons and armor from the Gladiator's Refuge vendor Siltherex. Honor gear scales to 437 in PvP. You'll first need to see if Militia has a quest for you. She will have 2 up during any week from a total of 6. These are all entitled Proving In, followed by either Skirmishes, Arenas, Battle, War, Solo and Teamwork. The ones you want at this stage are Proving In Battle and Proving In War. These allow you to obtain extra Honor and Conquest rewards from doing random Battlegrounds and Epic Battlegrounds. Do not bother taking any of the other quests from Militia at this stage. You are not yet strong enough to do other forms of PvP. These quests can be done completely passively. You accumulate Honor simply from being in Battlegrounds. You don't need to actually win any of them, although it will be faster if you do. Note there is a really dumb glitch where if you are maxed out on 15,000 Honor, you won't receive any more, so any kills or wins won't count towards quest completion. You can avoid this problem by spending Honor whenever you get it. When you have a full Honor set, buy strongboxes. The Proving Solo quest Militia sometimes offers is a special case. You cannot queue for this until you have an average of ilvl 434 gear. When you do get to that stage though, this is worth doing. You simply have to play 12 rounds of solo shuffle, which is 2 matches of 6 rounds each in total. Don't expect to win any of these at all early on. It is very difficult to win even a single round when undergeared. You will also want to check Khazra here. He sometimes has a quest called A Call to Battle, which gives 175 conquest for winning 4 Battlegrounds. When you turn in Militia's Proving quest, you will receive an item called Militia's Horde. This contains a splintered spark of Shadow Flame and an item called Artists Consortium Flyer, which starts the quest calling all competitors. When turned in, this will award a Trophy of Conquest and a greater Trophy of Conquest, which will allow you to raise the item level of crafted epic items to 450 in PvP, the highest available. You will want to get these items as quickly as possible. Now, I never actually craft the items myself. I go down to the work orders station, look for an item you want to buy, and then check what materials you need, and buy them off the auction house, then use those materials and the Trophy of Conquest to put in the order along with a nice tip for the crafter. I'm paying to do the work. Usually you will get your item within the hour. Now there's a secret quest which no one ever mentions, which can get you 250 conquest and can be completed almost instantly. This is a quest in Wintergrasp entitled No Mercy for the Merciless. You simply kill 10 NPCs, or you can stand near teammates killing enemy players, which takes only a few minutes. Ashran has a similar quest for killing the enemy boss. Both Wintergrasp and Ashran have specific quests which award honor. Notably, Ashran gives you 1,000 honor for a quest called Uncovering the Artifact Fragments. You simply have to kill NPCs and loot them for artifacts. Again, this should only take a few minutes. Warcraft also offers a daily brawl option. This is a novelty battleground with a gimmick. and it changes every week. The first time you play one of these each week and win, you get a bonus quest called Something Different, which currently awards 110 Conquest. Generally speaking, these are worth doing for Horde. I find the win rate so atrocious for Alliance, I often don't do them. There are exceptions. Comp Stomp, this is a battle against badly designed AI NPCs, which is literally the best way to farm honour in the whole game. If this brawl happens to be up, drop everything and just spam it until you have a full honour set. South Shore versus Taran Mill. Because this is an epic BG, being undergeared isn't that big a deal here. By the way, there is a huge exploit in this brawl on my Patreon, which is quite strong for Alliance and makes for a virtually certain win for Horde. And then there's Packed House. This is a very fast 15 versus 15 arena battle, and its speed makes it desirable even with a low win rate. Now, to attain Conquest quickly, you want to win at least one random and one epic battleground each day for the first win of the day, Conquest bonus. While undergeared in Battlegrounds, you ideally want to focus on forms of combat that don't involve your own character fighting the enemy directly. Vehicles and cannons are very powerful and important aspects of Wintergrasp and Isle of Conquest. In Wintergrasp specifically, you can get a lot of honour kills simply by using the flamethrower ability of the catapults on enemy players. When you have to fight, use abilities that are percentage based, as these don't take gear into consideration. For example, Pyroblast does a percentage of the enemy's health. It doesn't matter if your character is naked, it still hits like a truck. Similarly, a stun or a slow used by a character with eye level 300 is just the same as a stun or slow from a character with eye level 450. Much the same is true of purges or dispels. For these reasons, you should max out all crowd control abilities, purges and dispels, and percentage-based attacks or heals on your talent pane, at least until you have full honour gear. Having obtained eye level 434 gear from World PvP or eye level 437 from Battlegrounds, we are now exclusively focused on obtaining Conquest points. Conquest is a currency that will buy you weapons and armour up to eye level 450, the highest possible. The fastest method of attaining Conquest is from Solo Shuffle. There are 6 rounds in a match of Solo Shuffle. 6 players are split into 2 groups of 3 and shuffled every round, so everyone plays everyone else. You need 3 wins out of 6 to, air quotes, win a Solo Shuffle and get your Conquest reward. This is just under 200 for the first win of the day and 100 thereafter. That's significantly more than anything else, so you only need a tiny win rate to make focusing on Solo Shuffle worthwhile. Now, most players are trying to do Solo Shuffle for rating. Rating is typically considered a measure of how good you are at PvP. The more you win, the higher the rating you are awarded. However, it is more complicated than that because some classes perform better than others, especially when paired with other specific classes. So Blizzard used some kind of weird, incomprehensible formula to determine rating. It is possible to win 5 of 6 matches and not gain rating, or lose 5 of 6 and gain rating. There's a simple way to exploit this. Simply change your character's specialization. Each character specialization has a different rating, which starts at 0. This means play against undergeared opponents, which usually makes it much easier to attain wins and conquest, even when taking into consideration the fact you're playing a spec which you're not as familiar with. Naturally, this works very well until you begin to gain rating in your secondary specialization. Now, as you begin to gain rating, if you are trying to gear up as fast as possible and don't care about rating, the following strategy is the optimal one. Win exactly 3 solo shuffles. No more, no less. The reason for this is that winning rounds in Solo Shuffle causes you to gain a higher rating and be matched against better opponents. For someone trying to gear up, they want to play against opponents that are as bad as possible, so once they have won 3 matches and got their Conquest reward, they are incentivized not to win. Non-participation in a round is something that can get you reported for, and possibly even a ban. However, it isn't that hard to lose without it being obvious you aren't really trying. Now, I'm not saying you should do this. In fact, I rarely do this myself because I'm naturally competitive. But that is what the best strategy is. I would prefer Blizzard change this system to something which actually incentivizes players to win. Healers should be aware that they get a special 50 Conquest bonus for participating in solo shuffle. Some healers seem to recommend healing as the fastest method of gearing up for this reason, though be aware it can be quite a demanding and challenging role. There's an additional way to gain Conquest pieces, and that's to obtain items from the Great Vault. Earn honour in any form of rated PvP up to 5,000 and come to the vault at the weekly reset, and you'll be able to claim a random Conquest piece. When you've maxed out on honour, this will give you an item which adds a gem slot to an armour piece. Finally, you have the entirely voluntary option to gain a powerful set bonus in exchange for random changes to your stats. Fly over to Tier Hold here. Simply place any Conquest gear you have in the Titan device and activate it. Whether you actually want to do this depends greatly on your class, the tier bonus, and the changes to your stats. Converting your Conquest pieces often means a significant reduction in versatility, which is generally speaking one of the strongest stats for players in player versus player combat. You will need to Google a specific class guide to find out if this is worthwhile. Now, you'll notice that there are some things I haven't covered in this guide, and that's because there are certain things that are class specific, like embellishments, which would take too long to cover in one video. I'll leave some links to sources on this in the description below. Also, there are at least 100 powerful different PvP exploits. I'm going to be making a separate video about some of those in the near future. All of these and exploits too hot to ever discuss publicly are on my Patreon.